Hey guys, Randall here, Bragging Rights Precision Reloading. Today we're going to go over the Hornady OAL gauge, overall length gauge. Use the combination of the gauge with the comparator sets to figure out your headspace, and then the comparator set for the bullet to figure out the O-give to the lands. Precision reloading, for most rifles you want to take and figure out the distance of the bullet you're loading to the lands of the rifle, or to the barrel. And you want to figure out your desired jump. Most rifles like a little bit of jump, and you can play around with the jump as part of your load development to try to figure out the best accuracy of your bullet. It's a pretty simple procedure. You have to do this for every different bullet weight and profile that you do. If not, they are not the same. The O-give meets the lands on every one differently because the O-give is different on each bullet profile. Alright, with that said, it involves a little bit of math. Luckily, I have all the math figured out on a little cheat sheet here. All you have to do is write in your answers. It won't be that bad, just need a calculator. Alright, today we're going to be using the Nosler Custom Competition 30 cal 168 grain from a 308 Ruger Precision rifle. So we need to start out to figure out the OAL of the firearm off the bat with the modified case. I'm going to start by screwing the modified case onto the OAL gauge. You do not need to over tighten this, just needs to be snug. Now if you notice, there's a flat spot cut out on the gauge. You need to make sure that this stays lined up because it can turn. What that is for is when you make your measurements, it allows the arm of your calipers to fit into the flat spot. Just makes it a lot easier on all your measurements. Okay, so we're going to take the projectile, we're going to put it in the gauge, we're going to back the rod off until the tip of it's just barely sticking out. Now I'm going to slide the whole assembly into the chamber. Slide it forward until that you know that the modified case is sitting in the chamber correctly. Loosen up the knob, and you want to push the rod in ever so very slightly and easily. Because all you want is to know when that bullet, O-give, first touches the lands. You don't want to push it into the lands. Tighten up your set screw, wiggle it a little, hopefully it comes out with the bullet. If not, you probably went a little bit too deep into the lands. It's easy to do. Now I normally suggest that you do this at least 4 times, write down your measurements, and try to figure out your average, and use your average as your base measurement. Okay. Now, we're going to want to put the bullet comparator, that'll be the one with the smaller hole, onto your caliper. Turn on your caliper and make sure you zero it. It's a simple measurement. Nose of the bullet goes into the comparator, and that's what finds your O-give. Wiggle it until you know the flat spot is good. And there you go. With the modified case at least, 2.273 is the distance of the O-give of that bullet to where it first touches the lands of your rifling. Now, next up, we need to find the headspace of the modified case. Pretty simple task, except when you drop it. Things seem to get away from you, especially in the winter with dry fingers. So now we're going to install the headspace comparator. This flat anvil does not come with those kits. It's actually about 18 bucks off Amazon. Seems like a lot, but it's worth it because it helps the head of the case sit flat so you know you're getting a proper measurement. Before we do this, you need to once again close your calipers, 0. 1.623. I already had it modified, or the modified case figured. Comes up exactly what I figured it to. 1.623. So now's where the math starts to come in. You want to take the OAL with the modified case, 2.273, and you want to subtract 1.623. And that's a difference of 0.65. Now, you want to test the headspace of the case that you're actually going to be loading with, wherever you have the shoulder bump to. And this is where most people go wrong because they don't take this measurement, and it will throw you off. Alright, so now my headspace for the shell that I'm going to be using is 1.619. So now you want to take that 0.65 and you want to add 1.619. So that comes out to 2.269. That number is your true OAL of that bullet to where it touches the lands of your rifling. That takes away the difference between the modified case and the case that you're actually using. Without that, it will definitely throw you off, and you will either be too far into the lands or you're going to have too much of a gap over what you figured. So that's the basic part of it. Now, most rifles, they like to have a gap in the distance between the ogive and the lands. Very seldom do they shoot the most accurate dead on the lands, and the last thing that you want to do is not do these measurements and you wind up with a bullet that winds up too far into the lands when you chamber it. One, it'll make it a little bit harder to chamber, but worse off, you're going to overpressure the chamber. That's the same difference as putting too much powder in and overloading your case in the first place. It's going to affect velocities, it's going to affect your accuracy, and if you go too deep, you could possibly damage the firearm. Alright, so now, what if I want a 20 thousandths jump? All we do is take that 2.269, which is the true OAL to the lands, minus 0.020. So now 2.249 is what I want to load my cartridge with the bullet depth to equal 2.249 using the comparator, the bullet comparator. And that will give me my 20 thousandths jump. You can punch in whatever number that you like for whatever jump that you were trying to go for, and that math will figure it up for you. Now, we're going to go over here. I've got the same setup on my computer, which is what this was printed off of. I created this, and this figures all the math for you. It's very easy. It's on an Excel spreadsheet. So 2.273 punch in your modified case, 1.623, enter. gives you your first number. Punch in the headspace of your actual case, 1.619. Enter. There's your true OAL of your firearm at the O give to the lands. And this is where it makes it real easy because it's already set up to do the math. Punch in whatever you want for your jump. 0.020 for 20 thousandths. Enter. 2.249. That's where you want to set your bullet depth to get that desired gap. And again, this is not COAL. It's not cartridge overall length. This is the distance between the O give of the bullet to your lands. This is the most accurate measurement. You can take 5 bullets out of the same box, measure all of them for the overall length of the bullet itself to the tip, and they're all going to be a little different. Do the same thing with the O give, and they will be far, far more accurate at the O give. If I want to change this, I want 30 thousandths, 0.030. Enter. There's my new bullet seating depth. Again, it's actually not hard. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you, and have a blessed day.